The global depression is the inexorable result of the inherently fraudulent Anglo-American banking system, which is a criminal pyramid scheme, a Ponzi scheme, based upon debt to a private banking cartel. The key to ending the global depression is to reform the monetary and credit system as a public utility and not as the private property of the world's financial elites. In reforming the monetary and credit system, we're going to break this down into four basic areas that we're going to discuss. First, the impossible contract. Second, the exponential growth of interest versus the S-curve growth of the real economy. Third, we want to discuss open market operations. And fourth, we want to talk about the federal government's constitutional right to create money. Attorney and author Ellen Brown has pointed out that under our state civil law codes, if it is impossible for a contract to be performed, then the contract is void, and collectively it is impossible for all debtors to pay back their loans because by deliberate design there is not enough money in circulation to pay back all the loans. Debtors have to scramble to find the interest, and there is not enough money to go around because in a system in which money comes into existence only by borrowing at interest, then the system as a whole is always short of funds and somebody has to default. Banker Bernard Lietaer helped design the euro, and he has written several books on monetary reform, and Lietaer explained the interest problem this way. When a bank provides you with a $100,000 loan, it creates only the principal, which you then spend and circulate into the economy. The bank expects you to pay back $200,000 over the next 20 years, but it doesn't create the extra $100,000, the second $100,000, which is the interest. Instead, the bank sends you out into the tough world to battle against everybody else to bring back that second $100,000. Relatively few people understand this concept of the impossible contract, but it is the fundamental fraud that is built right into our monetary and credit system. The system is mathematically rigged by the bankers against the rest of us. To try to grasp this concept, let's suppose that we were starting off with a brand new economy today. We were going to start all over again. Now, the way money should work, money should be your receipt for what you put into the system. Let's say if you went to a restaurant and you took off your coat and you gave your coat to the coat check girl and she gave you back a stub so that you could get your coat back. That's what money should be. It should be that your coat should be like orange juice or milk or something that you created. You put that into the real economy and then you get back a stub. You get back cash as your receipt for what you put into the system. That's the way money should work, but that's not what money is. The way that our monetary and credit system works, money is debt. Our banking system is based upon something called fractional reserve banking, whereby the banks maintain reserves that are only a fraction of what the customer's deposits are. Funds deposited into the bank are mostly lent out, and the bank keeps only a fraction, which is called the reserve ratio, of the quantity of the reserves as deposits. Due to the prevalence of fractional reserve banking, the broad money supply of most countries is a multiple larger than the amount of the base money created by the country's central bank. That multiple, which is called the money multiplier, is determined by the reserve requirement, which under the Federal Reserve System here in America has been historically 10%. Accordingly, the banks have 10 times as much money to give out in loans as they have reserves in the bank. Going back to our hypothetical economy, let's say that we all agree that you have $10,000 and we all agree that your $10,000 is the only legal tender for our economy. So you've got all the cash. Now under our Federal Reserve System, that $10,000 can be fanned into 10 times that amount of money. So let's say I'm the banker and you want to build a house. So you come to me with your 10 grand and you say you want to borrow, your house is going to cost $100,000 to build, so you want to borrow an additional $90,000. I have that money to lend because if you put your $10,000 in my bank, that $10,000 I can then have $100,000 of loans out in total against that $10,000 that you deposited in the bank. So I lend you the additional 90 grand, and you take your $100,000 out into the real economy, and you spend it building your house. Now, before I gave you that loan, of course, you had to sign the loan documents, and in order to get the loan, I'm going to require that you pay 2 points for the construction loan, 2 points for the takeout commitment for the financing, and 10% interest on the loan. So all told, you're going to owe 14% on $90,000, which is $12,600, in addition to the $90,000 that you borrowed. So in any case, you spend the money into the economy, that 100 grand, and now we're getting towards the end of the year, and you've got to pay me back because I'm the banker, and the money's due at the end of the year. And let's say that you're the world's greatest singer. You're Frank Sinatra. In order to earn that money back, you're going to give a concert in the town, and you're going to charge everyone who comes to the concert. You're going to charge them admission to come to the concert. And you're such a great singer that you collect all $100,000. Every penny that's in circulation comes right back to you because you've collected all this money from everyone who wants to see your concert. So then you come to me at the end of the year with that 100 grand, and I say, gosh, way to go, Charlie. You collected every single penny that's out there in circulation, but now it's payback time. Let's see, you owe me $90,000 for the loan and $12,600 for the interest, so my total bill is $102,600. And what's your problem? Oh, geez, you only have $100,000 because that's all the money that was in circulation. Well, gosh, looks like you default. And guess who gets to keep the house? Me, and the banker. And who did less than anybody in order to earn that house? The banker. That's the fundamental fraud that's in our whole banking system. When you multiply that one example over and over again by all the millions and millions of loans that are out there, that's what's wrong. Today in the United States, there's something like $15 trillion of money that's in circulation out there, but the total amount of the debt is $50 trillion. Now, if every penny of all the money that we had in circulation went to pay off all the debt, we'd still be $35 trillion in the red. How can that be? That's the cumulative effect of all of these years of interest where the interest never got created. There's not enough currency in circulation to pay back the loans. It's rigged. Ultimately, in the long run, the bankers are going to have all of the money for the same reason that if you gamble in Las Vegas, eventually you're going to lose your money because the odds are against you. The odds are tilted in favor of the house. Our monetary and credit system is rigged by the bankers against everybody else.